guys, Duane Richins here. Welcome to the Door-to-Door Bootcamp. Today we're going to go through the basic nuts and bolts of going through door-to-door sales. For real estate agents, I'm going to help you understand the wheres, the whys, the hows, and what you need to look for in order to take your business to the next level. So stay with me here, follow through with all the steps that I'm going to give you today because it's going to change your business. So the first thing I ask people is, why do door-to-door? And so many people think, oh my gosh, I don't know why you would do door-to-door. It's scary, it's hard. And obviously, that's why no one does it. But the biggest reason you do door-to-door is because you get live face-to-face interaction and it's free. So how many of you guys out there have ever used Zillow? I personally have. I've done it for my team. I had a brokerage over 100 agents. We did Zillow for them. It was $12,000 plus a month and our conversion rates were horrible. You look at Google Ads. What kind of response are you getting on Google Ads? I know you're thinking, yeah, I've done Google Ads, I've done SEO, I've done ClickFunnels, I've done all of these things, and your conversion rates are horrible. Then you've got Realtor.com. Realtor.com is probably the best platform I've ever used for leads. But guess what? If you use a lead source, you're never, ever going to learn how to fish. And that's what I want to teach you, is how to fish, not to just have a fish flop in your plate. So that being said, I want you to think about what I can do to create my own leads, build my own database, build out anything that's gonna help get me to the next level. Last thing, Facebook leads. How many of you guys have done Facebook leads or paid for ad campaigns? Guys, remember, close ratio on leads right now is about 3%. That's it, 3%. And for me, that's a horrible ratio. And you're waiting for your phone to click, your email to click, somebody to say, hey, you've got a new lead. So you're always waiting on somebody else. So the goal today is to teach you how to get out and find that person, connect with them, you as a real estate agent, and then get them sold on buying a house. So now as you think of real estate in general, let's talk about inventory. There's inventory issues, whether you have too much inventory or you don't have enough inventory. Can you peak that with door-to-door? Absolutely. So when you think about Facebook and Google and Zillow and all these other places, if there's not a lot of inventory out there, it's hard to get leads. If there's a ton of inventory, it's hard to convert the leads. So let's talk about what you can do as a door-to-door person to get in front of people. So you have unlimited resources. Regardless of the market, you have unlimited resources where you can go out and knock on doors. If there's no inventory, you can create inventory by knocking on the door, finding sellers. Those listings sell very, very quickly, and then you're helping them buy a home as well. So just know, unlimited resources. Also, if it's a crazy market where there's tons of inventory, you can still get out and find people that are hesitant about listing. They're waiting for the rates to come down. They're waiting for the market to change. And so they've been sitting on the fence. You can convert those. So door-to-door is absolutely the best when it comes to inventory issues. Next, there's no competition. Because it's hard, no one gets out there and does that. So I can tell you from experience knocking on doors, I have maybe heard once in my career as a door-to-door realtor, someone say, oh yeah, we had someone come by knocking on our door trying to sell us real estate or talk to us about real estate. No one does it. Therefore, it is absolutely the best method you could ever do. Because you think about cold calling, if you're calling expires or FSBOs, how many agents have they talked to you prior to your phone call? What's your conversion rates? So know that you don't want to go fight with other people just to be able to get in front of them. And when you're doing it over a phone, you're trying to schedule an appointment, which then you have to go in person and if they're there, right? Whereas door-to-door, you're face-to-face, right then closing that appointment. It's so important that you know that you can convert someone right there. You can win them over with your personality, you can connect, and you can help them feel like you are their agent. So make sure as you think through this, that when you go to knock on a door, you are looking to close that client right then. You're not looking to set an appointment. You're not trying to set a listing appointment. You're not trying to set a buyer's appointment. You're already there. You're in front of them. So you get instant lead capture. Guys, people don't realize how important that is, because if you can win them over right there, you've already won the client. And your ratios of closing them is 10 times better, 100 times better when you're face-to-face and you're professional, you're experienced, and you know exactly how to convert them. So this is massive. It also sets a standard for you as a real estate agent that you're willing to do what other agents can't to provide them the best service. Thinking about that, where they've never had someone knocking on doors, immediately they look at you as a hustler, as aggressive, at great customer service. You're willing to go out and do what others won't to provide the best service for them as a client. That are some of the major issues of why you would want to do door-to-door. Okay, now let's move into the next sector, picking the neighborhood. So when you're picking the neighborhood, you want to get into a neighborhood that has very high turnover. So don't go knock multi-million-dollar homes because that's probably their forever home. They're probably not gonna move anytime soon. So get into a neighborhood that is close together, that is condos, townhomes, twin homes, starter homes, where the transition is high. You want to get into a neighborhood where they are changing their homes every 2 years, where it's their newlyweds. Hey, we just got married, we're moving into this house, we have 1 or 2 kids here, and then we're gone. They start making more money and they're able to get out of there because no one wants to live in a condo very long unless they have to. Same thing with the townhome. You also want to be in the price point you want to sell it. So if you're comfortable talking to that younger demographic in their 20s, late 20s, early 30s, that is a great demographic. They're not going to challenge you because they don't have 4 businesses by that point. They haven't, finished, a lot of them haven't finished their careers. So it's a lot easier to talk to them and help them understand your value in a situation like that rather than knocking in a multi-million-dollar home where they think they know everything. And they're hard to work with. So make sure you're knocking on doors in the price point that you feel comfortable with. Then you want to be able to sell that home quickly. So don't knock in an area where the average days on market, for instance, in our market, which is Utah, multi-million-dollar homes are sitting on the market for 200 days. That's the last thing that I want. I would much rather sell a $500,000 house and get them to buy a $600,000 house and have it happen in a month and still close that $1.1 million in volume, but all done within a month. Guys, yes, definitely get into a price point where you can sell quickly. You also want to be able to own the market share. In my first month, I sold 10 homes. In that neighborhood, everybody knew me because I sold all 10 homes in that neighborhood. I owned the market share in that neighborhood. So as you get into these neighborhoods, make sure you build a presence. Stay there long enough. List 4 or 5 homes. Help the buyers. Get them to mention your name on all the social media websites for the HOA. Build a brand that has your name and recognition in that area. And then go back frequently. Go back every 3 months and knock it again until when everybody thinks real estate, they think your name. So make sure it's an area where you can expand. So you're not only there 3 days, but you're there for 2 weeks. And then you're able to go back and be there for another 2 weeks. So an expandable neighborhood is so essential. So make sure you're looking at that. And then the availability of the homeowner. When are they going to be home? If it's a multi-million-dollar neighborhood, usually they are very busy business people. They have high-end careers. They're not able to just drop whatever they're doing to be home all the time. That being said, in a subdivision where it's a little bit less profitable, you're gonna find people home at different times. So you want to find your homeowners home in the afternoons, midday, where you can talk to them. Because if you can't talk to them, guess what? You can't close them. So you want to be able to find homeowners to be able to convert and close. The other thing you want to look for in a neighborhood is you want to be able to upgrade them. So make sure you're upgrading your clients and you're able to get both transactions. So you can help sell the house and help them buy a house. That's where you're going to start making a lot more money. So once again, don't get into that neighborhood where they're downgrading. That's not as profitable. It's a lot easier to pitch the sell of why it's better to buy now because of appreciation and equity and all the other things, which I'll talk about in other videos. But that being said, make sure it's a neighborhood where you can upgrade them. 5 keys to prospecting. Once you get into a neighborhood, the first thing you want to do is find a friend. Now, what does that mean? You want to look for the house that's got the old grandma wreath on it, the cool little swing on the front porch, the gnomes in the flower beds, and you're like, oh, that's my person. Why do you want to find that person? Because they know everything about the neighborhood. They know which families are thinking about moving, which ones have job transfers, which ones are fighting and going through a divorce. They know so much information. And they can help you before you start through the subdivision, getting to know who you need to talk to, why you need to talk to, and what some of the stuff is going on in that neighborhood. That could be profitable information for you to feel like you fit in. Now, oftentimes these people are older. They love to talk. So take the 15 to 20 minutes to get to know them, to win them over, to have them post on the social media, to tell their friends that you're in the neighborhood, because they will want to do that for you if you can make them feel good about the situation. So that being said, find that friend and make sure you network really well with them so that they feel like they want to help you out, that you're the awesome little door-to-door person that's out working these other people, and they want to help you win and be successful. And you need to stay put in your neighborhood as long as you can. That being said, stay there for 2 to 3 weeks if you can. Park your car in the same spot. Have those magnets stuck on the side of your car that says you're a real estate agent. Then let people know that you're in the neighborhood by parking the same place. Wave at everybody as you go through the neighborhood. I jaywalk a ton, crisscrossing back and forth across the streets. I want to be noticed. Also, as we talk about this as you're prospecting, the last thing you want to do is be looking at your phone and be like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. I hate this. Having a sad face on your face, a discouraged face, all these things are noticed by the people driving past. But if you're upbeat and positive and feel like you're crushing the world as you're doing this, even if you're not, people are going to see it. They're going to wonder why you're there. So when you knock on the door, it's not going to be, oh my gosh, I got to close the door on this person. They're going to be like, oh my heck, I've seen him talking or her talking to all of the neighbors. I want to see what they're doing. This must be interesting. They're on a lot of people's doorsteps for a long time. So don't make excuses. That's another key factor in prospecting. Guys, it's not fun. It's not fun to go door to door. So make sure that you are doing all that you can to be present and to stay there the whole time, because if you don't stay and get the contacts you need to get, you're not going to win. So barbecues, my wife needs me home, my husband needs me home, my kids need me, I've got to run them to soccer, figure out all those details ahead of time. I've got to run to the bathroom, I'm hungry. All of these are excuses. It's too hot outside, people don't want to open their doors. It's too cold. I can give you excuse after excuse after excuse. No one's home, no one's answering, they don't want to hear from me, they don't want what I'm selling. It's so easy for you to make an excuse and quit. But in reality, you're not going to get where you need to be. So when you think prospecting, think I need to talk to 200 people a week. That's a bare minimum. 200 people a week where I ask them a prospecting question such as, have you ever considered buying or selling real estate or investing in real estate? And then question-based selling from there. Stay focused. Once again, if you get out of focus, you're answering client phone calls, you're scheduling showings, you're reaching out to your assistants, that's going to cost you a lot of money because you're not going to be present. So when you knock on that door, I want you to get this mentality that you need to feel like they're stepping into your office. They just walk through your office door, they're sitting down at the chair, and they're waiting to hear what you have to say about the real estate market, where it's going, why it's headed there, and what it is going to do to benefit them in their lives. You need to be that confident when they open that door. So be present, know what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, know your script, be confident in every aspect of the approach, and people will see it, right? They open the door and you start stumbling, you're like, oh my gosh, what do I say? Where do I go from here? How do I do this? People are going to notice it and they're going to kick you to the curb. So be aware of what's happening in the neighborhood. Take the information that you've gotten from the friend and be able to disclose them. Hey, there's a new road coming in. They've got a new Target coming in. They're about 4 or 5 miles away from here. What's going to be driving the economy in this area? What's causing the economy to potentially slow down? So if they want to get the most out of their house, they better sell sooner. New schools, different things that could affect the housing prices in that area, you need to be an expert on. And that is important. So some of the key rules of prospecting you have to set ahead of time before you go out. Are you ready for this? Write these down. When it's go time, you've got to go. So what I did when I would go out to knock doors, I was on doors by 2 o'clock every day. And you can't set any exceptions. It's just hard and fast rules. 2 o'clock every day, I'm on the doors. So I got into the area about 1:45, parked my car. I'd go through a bunch of my notes and details prior to. I would set a game plan, and then I'm gonna kick the AC in the summer on high. I've knocked in Dallas, I've knocked in Mississippi, I've knocked in Missouri. I've knocked in so many different states where it's extremely hot. Laredo, Texas was another one. Oh my gosh, we roasted down there. So that being said, I would turn the AC on high. I would set a timer on my phone for 3 minutes. When that timer got off, there was no excuses. I had to turn the car off, open the door, shut the door, lock it, and know that I would not be back there until at least 9 o'clock at night. Set your rules ahead of time. If it's winter, the first thing you're gonna do is get to that area, you're gonna kick on the heat. You're gonna get roasting hot before you get out of the car, and then you're going to go hard for that full time. But key factor, make sure you set a stop time before you start. Because if you get out there and you're not finding the success, if you get out there and it's just not fun, if people are rejecting you, do you know how easy it is for you to quit? So don't allow yourself to do that. Set a stop time before you ever start and then get out there and work till it happens. I ask people this question all the time for my agents. Now, if I could write you a check for $13,000 today, would you work 8 hours and get told no every few minutes. And everybody will raise their hand. Yeah, I'd do that. I can make 13 grand. Oh, that's the average home price in Utah is about or 400 and something thousand dollars, 450. And so that being said, would you guys be willing to go out there and put in the full 8 hours? I know, a real-time job. Weird. Real estate agents have no clue what that is. A full-time job of prospecting 8 hours a day to be able to pick up a client. And I'm only talking about the buy. What about the sell? So really, you're gonna make 30,000 bucks. So let's say you don't get a sell day one. What if you did that all week for 40 hours? Would you do that for 40 hours if you could get a $26,000 check a week? And I'm pretty sure everybody on this training today is raising their hand saying, yeah, absolutely I would. Then why aren't we doing it, people? Why aren't we doing it? Because when you look at that, if you're getting $26,000 a week, let's just say that's 100 grand a month. Guess what? Now you're making over $1 million a year. $1.2 million a year by picking up one person that wants to buy or sell every week. And if you will put in 8 hours a day, every 5-6 days a week, I would even say 5 days a week, you will have more business than you ever know what to do with. So you gotta follow these rules. Make sure you set a stop time before you start, and then hold yourself accountable. It's the last rule. You've got to hold yourself accountable to making sure you're hitting over 200 contacts every week. And then make sure you continue to do that until your pipeline is so full you cannot work anymore. You've got to take care of all these clients. And then you've got to follow up on the systems. And I can teach you all the systems. I've had over 40 under contract at one time personally. It's not that hard to do. Right now I sell over $30 million a year in real estate, and it takes me about an hour and a half a day. I have systems in place with assistants. I don't show homes. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to prepare yourself to make over $1 million a year and not have to work near as hard as what you're working right now. So you have to be organized though. That's gonna be our next step. Be organized. You have to take good care of the information you get from your clients and be able to keep track of it. So if they're renting, I'm gonna put renter. On a street sheet, what I do is I'm gonna take a street sheet, I'm gonna put it down, I'm gonna write Hickory Street, and then I'm gonna write every house number all the way down the street until I have every house number down. Once I have all the house numbers down, I'm gonna zigzag back and forth and just talk to the people that are home. Because the last thing you want to do is go door to door. That's the worst. If no one's answering the door, you get bored, you're tired of it, you don't think it's profitable, you don't feel like you're doing a good job, and people also see you going door to door with your head down, and they're just like, oh my gosh, another door-to-door salesman. We're not door-to-door salespeople. We are professionals, and we do amazing work. So watch for people to get home, look for bikes by the front door, look for the door to be open, look for the garage door to be open. Look for people that are pulling into their driveway. Keep track of who's coming and going, and then knock on those doors when they are home. Give them quality information so you're on that door for 10 to 15 minutes. So as part of being organized, you need to be organized in the information you're going to present. Know the market. Know how many days on market. Know what interest rates are going to do. Know what the market's projected to do over the next 5 years. Help them understand all of these important things through questions. I teach an awesome question-based selling course that you can also find on my website. Go to my YouTube channel. There's a lot of details in the weeds of all of this stuff, but it's so essential that you are crazy organized and keep track of who you've talked to and who you haven't. Because if you go back and knock on the door of somebody you've already talked to, guess what? They're gonna be ticked. Like, you were just here 5 hours ago. You were here yesterday. It's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. I should have kept better track. So write down not interested renters, come back, put them in my database, and every person you should be trying to add to your database when you're knocking doors. Get that database up over 5,000 people. It's not hard to do when you're going face to face with everybody and you offer them something free of value. I do a whole thing on events as well that I can teach you about and guide you through. But you need to give crazy information that people feel like you are the expert in the field. And if you can do that, people will always be ready to listen. Make sure that as you go through, you're keeping good notes for a future time as well. So let's think about, hey, I'm gonna go back in 4 months. You need to know that David and Sarah are probably planning on moving in 2 months. You need to know what's happening with Alvin and Stephanie, and that they may have a job transfer. Have those notes in place so when you knock on the door again, just, hey, Duane with EXP, I know that you guys were thinking about having a job transfer. How's work going? And that's literally how you start the conversation. Oh man, it hasn't happened yet, but yeah, it's probably going to. Great, but don't want to bug you. but I just want to stay in touch with you. I'm doing some free events this month. Let me tell you about the events, and that's what you're going to do. You're going to tell them about the events and then move forward. So best times to knock, it's whenever you can find people. So I've started knocking at 8 a.m. I've closed deals at after midnight. So you can knock anytime. Now granted, I want to clarify, I did not knock a fresh door at midnight. I knocked a door about 9:30, 10 o'clock, scheduled an appointment, went back at 11 after all my appointments were done, and I was able to close the deal at midnight. So you can do that. Make sure as you're knocking throughout the day, if you get one person home that wants you to meet with a spouse, there's some strategy and tricks and tips around that to make sure you don't go back and they've murdered what you're doing and then the other spouse does not want to talk to you. But set appointments for after dark and then keep knocking, because the most profitable times for me, in my opinion, is Monday through Friday. It's going to be from 2 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. Guys, that is go time. Make sure you hold those hours sacred and that you get out and you knock during those times. Saturdays from 10 a.m. until 8:30 p.m. is golden. So if you're going to take a day off during the week, take off Monday and Sunday, but do not take off Saturdays unless your pipeline is absolutely packed. So best times to knock, anytime you can find people home. But evenings, you're going to find the decision makers home. You're going to be able to talk to husband and wife. Oftentimes, you're going to be able to close a lot quicker because you can get further along in the conversation and get them engaged in the conversation through your questions. And that will definitely get you further on to where you're headed and what you're doing. Mornings, you're going to find less stressed moms as they kids off to school. You can gather a lot of information at that time, and you're able to kind of just network through the importance of what they need to do, find out critical information so that when you come back and talk to the other spouse, you're able to close. But they will have a lot more time, and quite frankly, a lot of women that are home with kids all day long, they love adult conversations. So you're going to get a little bit more time just talking to some of these women at that point if they don't have a crying kid or a barking dog or some of the other things that definitely impede on that. But midday, when kids are getting home from school, you're going to get a lot higher rate of people home. You're going to see when the kids are coming home, and the majority of the time, you're not going to have kids pull into the house without mom or dad being there. So your rate of capturing people home midday goes up a lot. So I usually start, like I said, 2 p.m. and then plan on going until at least 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And then what you want to be doing is setting appointments past that and getting there. So appearance, let's talk about what to wear. As you go out as a professional, don't have all these piercings. It's going to scare people. They're probably not going to answer the door. I have nothing against it. I think that's crazy. I think that looks painful, and I think it looks fun. But I personally couldn't pull it off. You want to look confident, business oriented. Think of this. If you were going in to have brain surgery, what would you want the doctor to look like? And how professional would you want them to act and be? Same thing, even down to confidence. How much confidence would you want that doctor to have? You tell me what thing you're going to sell that is going to be more expensive than a home. That's the most expensive transaction anybody is ever going to have in real estate. So that being said, make sure that you look the part. See the picture of this guy with his suit coat? I'm not saying to wear a suit coat. I go out like this, a button-up collared shirt, and I usually buy Nike dry fits. I buy stuff that's gonna breathe really well. I wear golf pants because they're breathable all the way down the side so I don't get too hot. I'm wearing dress shoes. I want to look the part. Do I wear a name badge? No, I do not. I want them to open the door and wonder what I'm doing. I want to look classy. I want to be professional. I want to be confident when they open that door. And remember, I feel like they're stepping into my office. What do I carry? What do I have in my hands? Do I have a clipboard? Do I have market analysis? Do I have all these different things? No, I don't. None of it. Why? I don't want to be looking like a door-to-door salesman. So all of my information is right here, right in the brain, and I'm just going to deliver that information in a powerful way that's going to make them want more. I'm not going to have CMAs. I'm not going to have a bunch of papers or flyers to hand out, because you will become the flyer person very, very quickly. So make sure your body language is huge. You're not scared. Your eyes aren't like this. Oh my gosh, they just answered the door. You're very, very confident in what you do and your ability to perform. Your body language will tell the whole story. It will. It'll tell them exactly how you feel and how much you know, just by the look and how you start and what you say and the smile on your face. People are so readable, so readable. Facial expressions are key. Make sure you're smiling. I've reached out and shaken people's hands. Other times I don't, just depending on their body language. Other times I'll just stand back a little bit and just talk to them and cause them to come out and want to talk to me. So make sure one thing, and this is probably one of the most important things that you can always remember. Do people need your service? Now think about this. A lot of people think they're real estate professionals. A lot of people feel like they know more than anybody else out there and that they can conquer the world. But in reality, they don't. They need our service. They've got to understand what we do and why we do it, how we do it, why we get paid so much money to do it is because we will help them save or make money on the transaction. We're professional, we're good at what we do. And you've got to feel that, because if you feel that and know that, they will as well. Now, that being said, I personally feel like that I could outsell any other agent in my area. I feel like I know how to ask questions better. I feel like I can negotiate better. And I feel like I can help my client understand the market better and help them know where they can get to and why at a lot faster pace and help them feel like they've had a great experience. I know that, and I'm going to help my clients feel that way too when they open the door. So I want you to think about the confidence formula. Confidence formula is the know-how plus the purposeful repetition. So you got to know what you're doing, and then you got to repeat it over and over and over and over again. Now, once you've done that, then you've got to be aware of what things you need to fix, what improvements you need to make. So if you do those things, you got to know how, which is get into coaching, get into someone that is training at a high level, the door-to-door side, learn from them, repeat, copy, do everything that they're doing. I had one of my agents write on a 3x5 recipe card everything I told him. That agent now sells $30 million a year. And I had to give the guy kudos because he was humble enough when he knocked on a door, when they said a certain objection, he pulled out and he thumbs through his recipe cards and he reads verbatim what I told him to say. And now is selling over $30 million in real estate. So guys, get with people that are crazy knowledgeable, that can get you to that next level. Invest in yourself, because if you will do that, then you will have the know-how. Then you've got to go out and purposely repeat it. Role play with other agents that are doing door-to-door. On my door-to-door team, we have agents in California, in Georgia, in Florida, in Pennsylvania. And I have agents all over the US that get together and role play. That repetition is so important. So once you get doing the purposeful repetition, then take it to the next level. You want to then practice it with live, real clients. You need to be doing at least 200 contacts in a week. And if you'll do that, you've got the know-how, the purposeful repetition, and then you've got to continue to improve where you're making mistakes. So I'm going to tell you, record yourself. Record yourself often. Go back and listen to it. Send me the recording. Let me listen to it. I can tell you exactly what you need to change, how you need to change it to be successful, and then make those changes. Once you do all of those things, it's going to give you confidence. That is where confidence comes in. And once you have confidence, you guys, I'm telling you, there is no better method of prospecting than going door to door. I sold 89 homes my first year part-time, all door-to-door. After year 2, I sold 22 million in volume, all door-to-door. And guess what? I haven't had to prospect a day since year 2. I'm now on year 7. And it will build you a massive database of repeat and referral people. So now as we dive into having a purpose, why are we knocking on the doors? What are we gonna say? I know that's a big concern that you guys are thinking right now. It's like, oh my heck, I don't even know what to say. First of all, you've gotta be brief. Don't sit there and talk to them about their cars, their dog, their house, their everything under the sun, why they moved there, how many grandchildren they're gonna have before they leave there. Be brief. They would much rather be watching The Voice or Wheel of Fortune or anything out there on TV, Grey's Anatomy, rather than talking to you as a door-to-door person. So make sure you're being crazy brief and don't skirt around your purpose. Be blunt, be to the point. Hey, my name's Duane. I work for Prime Real Estate Experts. I work for EXP. Did your neighbors tell you I was gonna stop by and see you? Oh, they didn't? Great, no problem. The reason I'm here is the market shifting, prices are up, there's no inventory, there's tons of inventory, whatever the market may be that you're in. Have you ever considered buying, selling, or investing in real estate? That's it. I'm going to talk to you more about that pitch here in just a second. But get right down to the point. You have to catch their interest within 30 seconds. If you don't catch their interest within 30 seconds, conversation's over. They're going to close the door. They're out. They don't want to hear from you. Make sure you're capturing their interest very, very quick. Be likable. Smile. Give people a reason to want to talk to you. Dress appropriately. Have fun. You guys, you have to make this fun. If you will make this fun, they're going to feel that, and that personality and energy is going to rub off on them and help them get to the next level to where they want to spend a little bit more time with you. It's way better, more entertaining, more fun. I'm gaining better knowledge than watching Wheel of Fortune. So, presentation, have good information. Have good information. Know exactly what you're going to present on. Know how many days homes are on the market. Know what prices are doing, how many offers people are getting. Know exactly what's happening and know your facts. So some of the facts that I always bring up is the average interest rate over the last 25 years is 8.1%. Everybody thinks rates are so high. Okay, on a steady economy, we should be over 7. We're not. I mean, we're barely there. And then talk to them about what rates were in the early 80s. You know, if you can say, hey, rates were up to 19%, people go, oh my gosh, how do people live, right? Help them understand how much a 2% interest rate would cost them on their mortgage and what could happen if they wait. Guide them through those processes, but know key facts. Know that since 1991, the average appreciation across the United States was 263%. Wow. Where could you get an investment that's gonna make you that much money? Know a bunch of statistical data about your state, know how much things are appreciating, know how much people have made over the last 5 years. Have all of your details to where people are like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I love the details. Be confident. Be confident what you're doing. Be confident that you have more information than they could ever need and that they want to hear this information. And as your confidence rubs off, they will hear it and they will want to know more and they will be sold on you as their expert. Okay? Know your why. Why are you there? I have so many people that I coach or that are on my real estate team throughout the United States that, I get talking to them, we're rolling through the presentation and we get down to the bottom of it and they're closing appointments. So when can I come back by and see you? What in the world are you doing, people? You're already there. You're seeing them right now. Close them. And so know your why. Your why when you're knocking doors is to close all of the people you're in front of. Now, something I did, and I'm not telling you this is a great way to do it, I made a lot of money, but I would have made a ton more had I had a follow-up system. If they weren't ready to transact in the next 2 months, guess what? I passed them. I didn't even take their information. I only was looking for active people that were ready to buy or sell real estate right then that I could close. Now think of how many deals I could have closed if I would have had a buyer's agent or someone else following up with those people that wanted to close in 3 to 5 months. A lot. I don't feel bad about the fact that I only worked with those people because guess what? I didn't spend my time. I had a very abundance mindset, so I didn't spend a lot of time wasted on people that weren't ready to transact. Too often real estate agents, they sit and gather information, and then they follow up and they follow up. And 4 months down the road, that person still has not transacted, but they have spent so much time with that client. And guess what? A lot of those clients don't ever transact. And they've spent 4 months of wasted hopes, dreams, and time waiting for that client. How many of you guys are thinking had that happen to you? Many do. Many do. So don't get your hopes up in the fact that, hey, real estate's just gonna happen and I'm gonna follow up. Get somebody else to follow up with you and go after just active people. So all of you guys have been waiting for this point. I'm gonna give you the magical, non-magical script. So on my YouTube channel, you'll have to follow me, Duane Richins, Door-to-Door Realtor, but I put out a post, the best door-to-door script that will make you millions of dollars. And I've had like 25,000 views on it. But when you click on it, the first thing I say is, I got you. There is no magical script. You have to listen to your client. You have to ask them the right questions. You have to guide them through a process. So that being said, here's the script that I use on each person. Hey, my name's Duane. I work with EXP. Did your neighbors tell you I was going to come by and see you? Now, why would I say that? Most of the time they're going to say no, but I want them to think that I build enough credibility in that neighborhood that yes, the neighbors will have expected to have told the other neighbors about me coming by. Now, in reality, until you sell a lot of homes, they're not going to say anything, but if they do, it's huge for you. So expect a no right there, okay? Then I say, a lot of people are having issues with the market changing. Rates are going up, prices are going down. There's a lot of inventory on the market. That's for a buyer's market. If it's a seller's market, there is no inventory. We can't find enough homes. We have buyers that want to buy in this neighborhood. Have you ever considered selling? And at that point, you're going to start gathering information. That is the whole pitch. That's it. So then you need to ask about 20 to 25 questions that will guide them through the process of what they need to say next, how you need to help them understand why they need to move, what they need to do, how they need to do it. But really, you need to ask 20 to 25 questions. So guys, I'm telling you, this is not rocket science. It's just a matter of learning how to read people. I've got a question-based selling course. Check out my website, reald2d.com. And that question-based selling course is $300. It's 4 hours of crazy good information that's gonna help you get to the next level learning how to ask the right questions. If you're not sure which questions to ask, I'm developing just a questions paperwork that for each scenario of what questions would be good ones to ask to guide you through that next step that you can then memorize and help them get to the next level.